All right, what's going on? My name is George and welcome to another drop servicing video. Now, if this is your first time watching one of my videos, then first off, welcome. And in this channel, I talk primarily about e-commerce and drop servicing because I do it myself, and along the way, along the journey, I record videos such as these ones to kind of share with you my journey and everything I learned along the way. So if this is something that you are interested in, then make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel because unlike other YouTubers, I record the journey as I go along and I actually practice what I teach on this channel. Everything that I talk on my channel, I learned from my own experience, right? I actually implemented this myself. So with that out of the way, in this video, I would like to show you how to choose a drop servicing niche. Now, there are many different learnings that I have, so far learned along this way about how to choose a niche, how niches are different between each other. And in this video, I would like to share a couple of those findings with you so you have a better understanding about why niches are different from each other, how they're different, and then also kind of give you an idea about how to choose a niche and what is the best niche for you. Because remember, this is all individual, something that might work for me that might not necessarily work for you because, we have different approaches to business, we have different risk tolerance, and we're, looking for different things. So anyway, we have a lot to get through. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy this video, and hopefully you will find this video valuable. Oh, and before we start, please, all I ask for you, just drop the like button. This is gonna help my channel tremendous. It's gonna help share this video with many other people. So with that being said, the first thing first is, how do you choose a niche? What kind of niches there are for drop servicing? Now for this, what we can do is, we can go to this article right here. Wait, let me put on the screen recording real quick. All right, so we are here on this article, and this says 6 best drop servicing niches for beginners 2020, right? And this is written by Dylan Sigley, and he says that these are the 6 niches: YouTube ads for e-commerce, animated sales videos, Facebook advertising, graphic designer, web development for Shopify, and blog and article writing. Now, these are probably okay niches. I have not tried them myself, but there are a couple of things that come up to me when I look at them, right? First things first is that, in order to sell something to a customer, right, you need to actually have a pretty good understanding about the benefits of that service, right? So for example, if you were to build a landing page selling, for example, YouTube ads for e-commerce, well, you need to be able to sell that product or that service, to the end customer. So you need to know all the ins and outs of YouTube in comparison to other advertising platforms such as Facebook or Google search ads, right? So you really need to kind of have an understanding about every single one of this niche. And when we're talking about drop servicing, obviously you're not going to be doing the service yourself, you're going to be outsourcing it, but talking primarily from the kind of marketing / sales angle, you still need to learn all the ins and outs of this niche in order to be able to sell it to the end customer. So the first thing, that's the first thing that comes up. The second thing that comes up here when I look at this is that there are 2 different ways of how you can sell, or there are probably more, but the 2 main ways that you can sell your service is with either Google search ads, right? So pay-per-click. And then the second way is interruption marketing, which is Facebook ads or YouTube ads, right? So if you don't know the difference between those 2, let me kind of just briefly explain. When a person is looking for a particular service, right? So for example, let's say he's looking for web development for Shopify, right? And he's typing that in Google. That's a really warm kind of person, right? Because he's looking specifically for that. And you are showing your ads, you're right there in front of him. So when you guys 2 connect, there is already it's a warm connection. On the other hand, if you are doing something like YouTube ads or Facebook ads, right? Well, this is called interruption marketing. And what interruption marketing basically means is that a person that sees your ad did not necessarily look for that service that you're offering, right? Or that product. And just in a minute, I'm going to explain why this is relevant, why I'm explaining this, right? But you want to understand the difference between those two. And here comes a very, very important learning lesson that I would like to share with you. So don't click away. Listen, this is super important. If you are going to, whatever niche you're going to be selling, you first need to think about how you're going to sell it, right? Because you can sell anything. You can sell any of these 6 niches right here, right? Whether it's web development for Shopify or, Facebook advertising. And you can also be selling other niches. But that was a good one. But what you need to understand is you need to first figure out what's going to be your marketing strategy. Are you going to be using pay-per-click, right? So Google search ads, or are you going to be using interruption marketing such as Facebook ads? And the reason why this is important is because depending on what is best suited for you is going to depend on the niche. So say, for example, if you choose web development for Shopify, your best course of action here would probably to go with Google ads, right? Because it's such a kind of narrow niche down, like a niche, right? That you wanna just get people to visit your website who are looking specifically for that, okay? However, let's say, for example, and by the way, if you don't know this, I do a niche in drop servicing, which is called custom illustrations, right? So a person submits his photo, and then I have a team of artists who create an illustration from that photo. It's also a drop servicing niche, but it is a little bit less known, right? There are a couple of very successful websites that I'm gonna put here and up on the screen now. So this is my niche, right? And for my niche, I also do pay-per-click, right, on Google ads, but my main traffic source, my main source of sales comes from Facebook ads, right? Because my offer, this custom illustration, is much more emotional than, for example, web development for Shopify. And this is also very important. When someone is looking for web development for Shopify, he's not necessarily buying this because he is emotionally triggered to buy that offer, right? Instead, he needs to get that done. So he's looking for kind of the best offer on the market, and that's that, right? But when a person sees an ad, for example, on his news feed, and there is a very emotionally charged image, for example, of a couple kissing or a family, and they are turned into this, and from that photo there's an illustration created, well, that triggers the person in emotion, right? And that suits much better for interruption marketing. So I hope you're getting kind of the difference here between pay-per-click and interruption marketing and how that relates to different niches, right? So if you're doing custom illustrations, which I do, then you are more on the interruption side, right? Because you can scale much harder there, right? The person doesn't necessarily know that he wants it, but when he sees it, he's much more likely to buy it, which means that you can show your ads to more people who don't necessarily know they want it, but they are potentially your customers, right? Whereas with, for example, web development niche, you are limited by the amount of people looking for that service. So let's say, for example, there is on average 2,000 people looking for web development for Shopify per month. Well, you can only capture so many people with that, right? And if you're going to be showing ads, interruption marketing, so on Facebook for web development for Shopify, well, I don't know. I mean, it's not that interesting of an offer, right? It doesn't really go well with the whole interruption marketing on these social medias, right? So I hope you understand that. Now, another super important thing that you want to take into consideration when choosing a niche is something which is called seasonality, okay? So let me give you an example. So for example, with custom illustrations, right? Take custom illustrations as an offer. This offer sells, well, there's demand for it, right? So it sells only when there's demand, right? And there is demand for it only 4 times during a year. And when one of those 4 times, well, it's before Valentine's Day, before Mother's Day, before Father's Day, and before Christmas. So what this tells us is that the people buy this as a gift, right? Gifts are only so many times during the year, and so this makes it a seasonal offer. Right? This means that you need to scale your ads when there is demand, and then you need to turn them off when there is no demand. Otherwise, you're going to be losing money, right? The demand goes in spikes, and when there's a spike, you need to be up there kind of running ads. On the other hand, when it comes to these niches such as web development for Shopify, the demand can fluctuate a little bit, but there is pretty much it's a evergreen offer, right? The demand for it throughout the year is somewhat consistent. Now there can be some fluctuations, some months are a little bit more, but it does not go in spikes. There is a consistent demand, right? So this has both, the pros and the cons, right? Of both sides. There's something there, I don't like to think of it as this is better or this is worse. No. There are both sides to each niche, right? So for example, for web development, the traffic is lower, right? There is lower potential to scale. However, it's consistent, right? You can capture sales throughout the whole year. You're not relying on seasonality. With custom illustrations, on the other hand, you're limited by 4 months of sales, but when those 4 months do happen, you can scale super aggressively and capture pretty much the whole your whole profits, your whole sales in just 4 months, right? For the whole year. So you're working only 33% of the year, but you're getting sales that compensate for the whole year. So yeah, in terms of answering the question, how to choose a niche, hopefully I gave you kind of some ideas here to bounce around. I can't say what you need to choose, because you need to decide that for yourself. Plus my opinion is biased because I do custom illustrations myself. So if you ask me, I'm gonna say yeah, custom illustrations is the way to go. But this does not necessarily mean that there is no opportunity with for example, with a niche such as web development for Shopify. There is, and if you're going to be deciding, right, for example, let's say you're gonna go for this one. Well, what do you want to take into consideration is you want to take into consideration the traffic, right? So how much traffic there is for a particular niche, and then you want to see the competition, and you can see that in Google Ads, right? If you go to Google Ads, discover new keywords, and if you look for web development for Shopify, you will be able to see what is the monthly search average search volume, and then also what is the competition. And you want to aim for something that has relatively high search volume, and then balancing that with competition, right? So for example, if we take drop servicing as a keyword, right? This is what I'm targeting here on YouTube, right? It has a very good search volume and the competition is not that high, right? So I kind of chose my niche, and that I'm focusing here on YouTube. I'm making videos about that, and I would like to attract you guys who are watching these videos who are interested in drop servicing to me, and that we build this relationship, and then we are on the same page, and I'll be able to make an offer to you later on down the line, and so forth. So yeah, this is my 2 cents on how to choose a niche for your drop servicing business. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, because I release more videos such as this one talking about drop servicing, e-commerce. And on this note, I want to thank you so much for watching this video. Till next time.